Hey guys, across the old crow, making sure the timer's going. It means that thing's recorded. And this is another one of my tactical perspective, whatever. I'm calling this one, GI Crow or the Joe's Crows, the Crows, Canadian Joes, whatever you want to call it. It's my conversion stuff. And today I have a new G.I. Joe custom character, a Canadian G.I. Joe that I wanted to introduce to you guys, that I kind of kept tucked away in the background. I wasn't presenting it as much as I had with the very first one of these I did, which was Bull, and that was a McFarlane artist proof 40K figure, a very large one that I was practicing learning all this, take it apart, paint it, how to go about it stuff because I was getting them at reduced prices, like really dirt cheap clearance sale prices for the most part, that stuff. And then I was picking up other clearance figures of other lines to keep practicing. So I started building up a collection, and some stuff I was showing you and some stuff I haven't been. And one of the ones I'm really excited about is turning this wrestler. I keep forgetting to put his box there so I can at least respect the guy with his name. But this is very much turning into my Dr. Mindbender, as some of you saw with the little how to take Lady J apart video. I just wanted to quickly show you a quick amendment to that video. Absolutely, that water had just cooled too much, but that's not Lady J. Those are Lady J's parts. Here's pieces of Lady J over here, and there's pieces of Lady J over there, and there's pieces of Lady J everywhere. And that's what I really got excited as I came up with more ideas of how to do my Dr. Mindbender. So today I trimmed down those goofy boots, but this isn't about Dr. Mindbender. This is about a TCCC. So a TCCC and about my character Night Owl, and the explanation as to why I have a character called Night Owl, why I'm classifying it as my classified, what I use to make it, and all that other stuff, and where it falls in, and the little story going on back here. If I remember to make reference to why all these guys are here, that's fine. Well, clearly he's here because that's the Bull, and that is my Canadian Joe from Alberta. This is my Joe from Prince Edward Island, Surrey, Prince Edward Island. I decided once they were done, and I decided which province that would be best represented. And I thought, what a great idea to have a nice laid-back person like a PEI natives that I know, very practical and laid back. And if you're not from PEI, you're from away. Anyways, so in TCCC, so in the Army, TCCC is a couple things. It's ticks. We call it ticks for our radios, right? And it's it's an acronym for our communications and encryptions and things like that, right? But it's also, unfortunately, the tactical combat casualty care, which is what I had to get qualified for my tours in Afghanistan, and it's the battlefield injury, maintaining a casualty, waiting for a helicopter kind of stuff. So when I do videos like Wolf Spider and all these emergency quick response characters that I am doing, and variants and whatnot, I keep these people in mind as to what their roles are, and are they filling in those roles, right? So with that, when I do up a character, I do what every good military-minded person does when they're trying to achieve an objective. I ask all of the W's, the who, the what, the why, the where, the when, and the how, right? And then I apply it to what's going on, how it worked, everything like that, and then I do an after action review. So it's kind of like when I do my tactical perspective figure reviews, where I review an actual figure. When I'm doing my own, I'm just explaining what I was thinking, because sometimes I'm thinking it's going to be disastrous, and sometimes I'm thinking it's going to be okay, but it's fun to share it with you guys, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. So don't ask me what a first name, last name is for this character. I don't have one yet, just like I didn't come up with one bull. I figure by the time I'm a few more in, maybe I'll do up just for shits and giggles the file cards beyond those, just the names and the roles I'm having them fill. So as far as the who goes, then that's really the first question. You know, like what was the objective and who was I trying to make? Is it a new character, an existing character, or a character, a variation of something, right? Or a mashup kind of deal. Or is it a vehicle or a place, right? The who is more just what noun are we using, and not genders unless you knew the gender, right? I chose this figure because I wanted this to be a pilot for another project, like an actual physical helicopter pilot, and I found this figure, which was in my collection for the longest time, filling a back roll, and I'll show you in the slideshow, was very valuable, right? So I decided that this is the helicopter kind of design I want to do, which is a gazelle. And for anybody who's been tracking the video, when I do a Joe variant or a custom character, I'm classifying them as my Canadian Joes, or the ats from Joe's to the detachment. And I picture a joint task force parallel to Joe that Canada has, and they are combining together to form a company called the Red Devils, which, like I talked about, is the Devil's Brigade from World War II, which was a mashup of Canadian and American soldiers for an anti-German task, right? And there's more to be said on that, but I won't dwell on it. I talked about it in other videos. So this all falls under the Red Devils. That's their helicopter. That's the pilot. Well, that's the ideas behind them. So the Gazelle, I thought, was one of my favorite helicopters to see in action. The Brits, Europe, the Commonwealth states have them, or Commonwealth countries, I should say, have them. And I had found this thing at the Value Village for a dirt cheap price, but I saw by cutting in certain places, I'd be able to extend that into something maybe that would work out. So like I said, with the Joes, they're all Canadians, and Bull was from Alberta, generally Alberta and that kind of region where Alberta's like, it's my favorite province that I've ever lived in, and I spent a very long time there. And it was very much like a Texas, I guess, a Texas and a Montana, very close to, like, we're right across from Montana, so maybe that's why I fell in love with Montana so much. But I didn't want to do another Albertan, and I see these pilots, and I think about the stress factors of a reconnaissance helicopter pilot in the modern battlefield. I mean, they're soft skin helicopters, they're light, they don't take hits, they're just fast, right? And what kind of pilot would have to fly that? I have to be a very relaxed person, like a native from PEI who's been doing it her whole life, raised to, pursue, Coast Guard work and things like that, like the rest of her family had. So it was like, yeah, okay, there you go. So, Surrey, PEI, blah, blah, blah. This is the figure it all started with, my Yelena Belova from Marvel Legends. It's Yelena Belova when she was the Black Widow for a time. And I had this character. I bought it because I was doped out about the head, and I have the head. I just repainted the mask, and I had that on an extra Baroness body, looking at that as a kit bash in my mind, but never really committing to it or feeling like it was really in its place, because I wasn't doing conversions. I was really just trying to I've got a spare figure, I gotta find a way to put it on the shelf. So I wanted that head, and I wound up saving the kit and everything else, and the body sat in the background for the longest time, but it was a great figure. And what I really learned to appreciate is how simple Marvel figures can be when they're not wearing all the body armor, tactical gear, and muscle mass and all that, like some of the simpler figures. And I didn't need a lot of kit of it, and I've been utilizing every single drop of it. So I had it as a background coil rider for my extra coil. But what I ended up using was that body. And then if you guys remember, I bought a Tiger at some point. It was on sale at GameStop for like I said, probably $12-15. Thought, geez, that's a really respectably good figure. It's a chick in a bikini. Sure, that's I've watched some of the other reviewers. I know displays. You could get away with a few of those, all right, and still have your dignity about you. So I bought it because it also had a variant head, and that was really the important thing. I was at that point going, I think I like having a choice of body parts for later, and having an extra head didn't seem too bad. So that was the variant head for Tiger, the one that was actually on the post. And I just did a complete repaint on there and an ad, and I'll show you what I did through the videos as I did them, right? So that's the Tiger figure. That's how she came, right? So this is the head that I sculpted with, or not, I can't say sculpted, sorry. I refashioned in my typical Crow way. And yeah, so at some point, this was after I did the wash, I was like, victory. I slipped on Falcone's beret for a moment, just for shits and giggles. And what ended up happening, pardon me while I just fix her on her stand here, for a moment, in a moment of time, I thought that might have been what I wanted to go for this pilot, was to have a beret. I thought maybe I'd paint it black and give it a red, pardon me, cap badge, and that would be the Red Devil beret, the Red Devil Company beret. It would be black and red, and that would be good to go. Thought that's the solution I was looking for, but I took some pictures to get some ideas of where I wanted kit and where I didn't, and that was kind of where I last left you guys. That was the last time you saw it, and then I switched over to talking to you about the Uzi I was making for her. That was it. I showed you guys quickly that I was using some wood and sanding just to make that extra stock, right? So now you know. So what else did I do to this figure? I took the head from Tiger, like we said. I decided to leave that little itty bitty indication that it was Tiger, which is the ear. I was going to trim that top of her ear off, and I thought, nah, you know what, it's an elfish little quality. It at least reminds me that it was Tigra. If I get senile next week again and forget, and who knows what happens. But yeah, of course, I snatched up my... Oh, Crow moment. What's your own sign worth, Crow? Nah, it wasn't disastrous enough yet. Let's see if we can crank this up to a couple of shots for you and just slide the sign forward. Oh, nobody's drinking tonight yet. Not yet. Figure's gonna fall though. Jeez, my reviews are so amateur. Anyways, guys, where was I? Yeah, I snatched up the Baroness glasses because I have the Crimson Strike team, and I had 2 coils with 2 Baroness heads, and really the ones just sitting in the drawer in those perfectly good glasses. And I thought I wanted an introvert, the pretty shy girl, but very serious, very intelligent, very skilled, a helicopter pilot. And I thought having the horn rim glasses would kind of go with that name of Night Owl. In that, when I think of night owls, I think of people up late and studying or working and things like that. But she just, whatever, you can justify it however crap you want. Whatever, it's my expanded Joe, right? But I did that paint job just to kind of make it look kind of owly feathers kind of stuff going on there. There's not much paint going on. I really didn't want to challenge the simplicity of it all by adding a ton of kit and then, really overdoing it with the paint. So I left it at just the torso, so just a bit of brown that I liked under there, just to kind of keep it brown, and I'll show you why when I flip it to the back. And then the feathery brown leathery, I don't know, that, yeah, I was like, what's a funky version of owl feathers? It would be something like that. I'll talk about the brassards later. It's a steel core thing, clearly, that I stole from my steel core troopers. But the back of the jacket, the back of her vest, was just kind of like a customization point I wanted to do. Where, sorry, I'm gonna have to set the phone over here and move the light over here. Oh, sorry guys, never prepared, right? But yeah, it's because my base I chose was these custom bases I was making for my own, and the nub is just a bit shallower than I want, and the sticky tack isn't as sticky as I would tack. Anyways, if we look there, you can kind of see it, but we've got a decal there that I've pulled off of one of my decal collections, and it's another burning devil skull or devil thing. It's actually from a 40K chaos effect, but I thought I'd just throw that on the back of there just as a nod to the fact that she's a red devil. You bet you red devil, you're the red devil. I don't know why I do that, but I do that. Anyways, that Uzi was still something I was really happy about, how it turned out with the desert pattern, the wood stock, and the shoulder pads, or the shoulder brassards. I wanted this because it had mag pouches that would accommodate that Uzi magazine. So I was like, yup, yoink. That is so much for my character now that I'll probably have to get another steel core set, because I know that Bobby Val really likes steel core, and I think he'd be very upset with what I have done to my steel core. But I am very excited to what I'm going to do to them more. Anyways, Dr. Mindbender, yeah, taking over there. So the glasses, I was happy because you could still see through them, and you could still see the eye paint job that I was able to keep it from the Tigra original. I didn't get any of the paint on the eyes or the features I wanted, and yeah, I could have spent a lot longer trying to get a better paint wash for the flesh, but I had to move on. Same as the hair. I might still dry brush the hair to lighten it up at points, but getting to the flight gear, which is what I wanted to add to it, was okay, yeah, so I talked about the Wolf Spider. If you're gonna be these emergency response crews and everything like that, then it's assumed what you're using helicopters. Are you quick QRF? Are you ground QRF? Or are you rapid air support QRF? Like, anybody taken down from the helicopter is gonna have a harness, a Swiss seat, something like that, right? So on top of some of the quick little dirty mods I did for her, I yoinked the harness off of this Merrick figure from the Star Wars line, who was going to be my cutter for my hovercraft, but I've decided to move away from a cutter entirely, and I'm just kind of, yeah, honestly, these spare parts right now, and it's fine. Yeah, but yeah, so I did that. So there was a gray want to match to minimize how much painting I was doing on this figure, and just how much more I was just making things fit. So I jury rigged a little buckle clasp out of some metal components I had. And then the fun part, I thought, with the fun feature, was her removable tablet, which is very much like you would see with Wild Weasel in a Rattler Wild Weasel classified figure. It's the map, which was interesting. The Marvel Legends Yelena below the leg is just a bit narrower than CoverGirl's. So CoverGirl's as loose as that fits. It's even looser there, so I've just got a little piece of sticky tack behind it to just keep it snug, keep it tight, keep it there, and so be it. So yeah, the two shoulder brassards I said were the steel core ones, one for the mag pouches, and one where I could do up a little bit of the flame effect that I was doing on Bull's shoulder flash before I did all the weathering, where I wanted to have a little bit of a flame effect. And I figured that would probably be about as much unique colors as I would need. So I pictured the RDC, or the Red Devil Company, basically being like the another Tiger Force, Nightforce, whatever. The thing is, guys, I have a real hard time getting Nightforce when they're always sold out every time I'm looking at them on Walmart online, and the pre-sales just did all their things, right? So so I answered the what, and that what I wanted to do is keep it simple. I won't keep a pilot. The why I did it, because of the role she was filling, and the where, how, when, like, where do I see her fit and whatnot, is like, as far as these goes, is what is the order of work that I had to focus on. It was really just trying to come up with a feature that broke up a very uniquely Tigra head, and B, break up this black conservatively and tastefully without overdoing it, I thought. And I wanted to have a feature weapon, really. And I wound up coming up with 2 real feature tech pieces, right? So the Wen, it took me, I would say I've been at this off and on for about 3 weeks, just going back and forth, walking away from it and coming back. But other little secrets I did was, again, that plastic card came into play when it came into trying to get those Baroness glasses. They came off a bit short on her head, so I had to make arm extensions to make them fit. So that was just done using a quick sketch on a piece of paper, and then you cut it out with hockey card protectors. And then I laid them on as such, right? So yeah, there's the glasses I stole right there. She's the owner of those. Anyways, guys, yeah, just a quick and dirty. You see there me trying to fix up the belt. There you can see her glasses when I was trying to fix those up. Merrick, who I stole it from, and Nightforce, who I always bitch and complain about. But this was the other thing that I was really happy about today when I was picking up my wolf spiders. I thought about how cool they make as a fire team partner because of the helicopter situation that I'm trying to create and the roles that they fill. So now you know about her. That is my night owl. The Tempest is just a working title. I haven't started ripping it apart yet, but you see I've been working on a lot of sketches for it, and I do have a couple more figures on the go. So the next figures you're going to see that are going to be associated with the Red Devil Company, any Joe I do, if I do it, and I think that Hasbro's going to be tackling about it, then it's a variant for the RDC. Big deal. Oh, by the way, don't forget to do that if you're enjoying these videos. I keep forgetting to do that. Man, my ADHD. Even with meds, I should say. You'll see one of these guys coming up soon, and I'll tell you all about them, a couple other Joes that'll make it onto the RDC list that I'm doing variants for. But you're also going to see some of my own characters very much in the vein of what I've been doing here. All right, thanks very much, guys, and don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and feel free to leave comments and talk about your Joe creations if you're doing that sort of stuff. I'm always interested. Thanks again.